Well, again, going through Cleveland, and I'm not quite sure I can say that this will be my last video, because you can never say never. I could be like a famous artist in Australia rather, John Farnham, who was having his final tours every several years. He was a good artist, by the way, nothing against him as an artist, but he'd retire and then come out of retirement and so forth and so on. But I guess the reason why I'm calling this a last video is I keep on putting the camera on my chest as I'm riding up. I keep on having a bit of a rant and a rave, and there's nothing new. There's nothing new to say, really new. And I guess it all comes down to what is the last video you saw of me and what you took from it. I think when I did my 1 year review and comparison between the DM2 and the DM02, the new version versus this older version that I ride, I ultimately said I'm backing them, and basically that's where I'm at. This motor I call Lazarus. It had a phizzled controller over a year ago, nearly 2 years ago. It sat in a box. Well, I tried to repair it, and then I got it had a bad torque sensor as well, or I cut the wire to the torque sensor and didn't repair. Whatever happened, wasn't getting it fixed. And then when I got a shipment of stuff from To7, I put in a new controller and a new torque sensor, and I've been riding this bike virtually ever since. My other original motor has gone into an e-bike build, which I've done for my son, and he loves it. And I've put together a couple of the old TST-Z2 motors, which are on bikes for my wife and my daughter because they don't ride as much. And the DMO2 just leaves them for dust. You know, one of them I've got the Embruiser, whatever, OSF firmware on it, and it still fails to come close to the assistance and the feel of the DM02 now with the later firmware. Now all later models of DM2s or DMO2s, you're going to be locked out of a lot of the stuff that these original motors had access to, and that's not necessarily a bad thing. Disappointing for the boffins, for those who really like to tweak and fiddle, but ultimately they're set up for you to get on and to ride and to enjoy riding, and they'll get you up 35% inclines. You'll be sweating at the end of it, you'll be heaving at the end of it, but you'll be going up a hell of a lot better than without it. And with well, I wouldn't do it with a TST-Z2, I wouldn't do it with the Tongcheng, just wouldn't. So the motor is capable, it's consistent. This one, after fizzling the controller, well, I guess it's more like 14-15 months ago, no, more than that, 18 months ago. Anyway, after fizzling the controller on this motor, putting only about 35 kilometers on it, going through massive teething issues with To7 one way or t'other, and them going through it and constantly improving. Now, some of their communication has been less than perfect. They did have an engineer who was making an effort to communicate for them, but he got into some hot water because he was sharing too much at times, maybe. I'm not sure. He was really appreciated by the user community. But anyway, that all closed down. But now they're good motors that give good assistance, and I'm happy. I just don't want another motor. I don't feel the need to go look anywhere else. Now I'm perfectly happy for that to change. Perfectly happy for me to hop on, I don't know, a turbo level or something like that and think, oh shit, this is really good. But I have been on Shimano Steps motors. I have been on Bosch CX Performance Line motors. And for the assistance and everything else, I rate this motor. And what this motor offers, which all those others don't, is that you've got the versatility of being able to swap it out of bikes as your riding tastes change. And that's one thing you're going to have to be prepared for if you do get into e-bike commuting or e-bike riding or e-bike joyriding, is that you may well change your expectations of what you do on a bicycle, like I have. First of all, I just wanted to get up and down blacktop roads. Now I'm going up national park routes with, you know, this kind of thing. Rocks and slopes and nature and fun. And in my shed I've got a hub drive about as powerful as this, and I've got my TSD Z2s and all those other experiences, and I'm just really happy with this. And so there you go. That's why I reckon I've said it all. I'm not looking anywhere else. I'm not waiting for another problem to be fixed. Everything seems to have stabilised in the last 3 or 4 months, 5 months even, and it's all pretty good. And this bit is steep. Sadly, you don't see it. It's down on the Strava segments if you want to scroll across it, but bits of it get up to over 35%. And so, To7 DM02, very capable e-bike motor, really reasonable price. The only caveat with that is get a good battery. If I can offer some experience from a tight ass, I've bought my share of cheap e-bike kits, hub e-bike kits, and then cheap batteries, and I'm now buying batteries. I'm buying them from UPP, United Pack Power. Some people give them a bad rep, but the batteries I've got from them are very good, because they're built to a standard. And so ultimately, Australian dollar wise, somewhere around about 1,300 might be 1400. You can get yourself a motor and a battery, which will be equivalent to pretty high-end bicycles, and then it's just a matter of what bicycle you put it on. And of course, the better the bicycle frame matches you, and the better the bicycle type matches your style of riding, the better your experience. And with me, my evolution has been from an initial hub motor on a flat bar commuter with no suspension, to this bike now with front suspension, but it's pretty crap, but it's not a priority to change because I'm not doing hard downhill. My downhill is going down blacktop to work, and I got this frame pretty cheap. You might get the steam of a tight ass all through it, and you know, it probably pays to think about where you want to spend your money, but this frame seems to fit me like a glove whenever I get onto it. I love it. I've got a Brooks saddle. Chain rings. Well, I'll go back to the drive. I've now got a Shimano Alpine 8-speed internal geared hub at the back, and it is fine. And what I do is up front I've got a TSD Z2, 42 teeth chain wheel, and a flat 52 chain wheel. And for going to work, going downhill, I just put 52 foot, and that bit was around about 35% too. Put the chain on the 52, and I'm getting pedaling assistance up to around about 55-60 kilometers an hour. And then when I'm coming up these slopes, I swap it over to the 42, and I'm getting better than 1-to-1 or lower than 1-to-1 assistance, and so that works really well for me. And you might be able to see I don't travel light. I've got all sorts of stuff on the bike, and so you know, the dead weight of my bike with my motor and all the shit that I carry for work, and the spares and the tools that I carry that I use occasionally. The bike would be well over 30 kilos, so that's that. You might notice I've got two stands. I put a centre stand on a while back, and it was great, but I missed the kickstand for just short stops, and so I put the kickstand on the back, and so for just general convenience I got the kickstand, and for times that I want the stability I got the centre stand. Now, totally unnecessary, pure convenience, and it works for me, and I can do it because the DM02 gives me enough assistance to do what I need to do, carrying ridiculous amounts of accessories, and so if you're looking for e-bikes you think a kit might work better for you, especially if you've got a decent frame and bike with decent gears and stuff, which hasn't had a lot of use, because you just found, although it was good, wasn't good enough. I reckon you'll be blown away. But if you put a DMO2 on it and went for a ride, because it opens up a whole new world of possibilities. Certainly things that I never dreamed I'd be doing. And we'll just see if I can get up this little tricky bit. Normally I can't, but especially at the top, there's kind of a bit of a step of roots which I never get the right line on. Oh, there we go, did it. So that is a good a note as finishing on, because if you'd been listening you would have heard the hesitation of my pedals through the motor, the hesitation in the motor, getting the control, accelerating when I wanted to, and yeah, it's good. I'm happy. So and a shameless plug for why Yureidla e-bike solutions if you're in South Australia, which will be a very niche audience for this, but Yureidla is e-bike solutions. Why e-bikes Oz, letter Y, e-bikes Oz at gmail.com. Send me an email. I'm not getting a lot of business, funnily enough, just starting out, so I have to check it more regularly, and or put a comments on this YouTube channel to read my bloody emails, and you can maybe start your journey as well. Bye for now.